Erev Tov, good evening. The Right Honorable Justin Trudeau, Prime Minister of Canada, is present here with us. What an honor. There are so many people, so many elected officials, VIPs, friends, members of Jewish organizations, rabbis, community members, and of course, families of Holocaust survivors, dear members of the community. It is a great honor to represent the State of Israel here in the city of Toronto, in Canada, one of Israel's closest allies and staunchest supporters. It is a pleasure to join you in celebrating 30 years to the March of the Living. These events are always very emotional for me. I come from a family of Holocaust survivors. My 4 grandparents, all of them, are Holocaust survivors. For many years, the painful memory of the Holocaust was pushed aside in Israel to make room for the creation of the new Israeli, the Sabra. Holocaust survivors landed on the shores of our nascent state and fought in the War of Independence. Many others reached the ports of North America. They raised families. For many, these were already second families, since the first ones were lost in the war. They worked hard, never complained. They created alternative families of friends from the old country and survivors like themselves. When cooking for the holidays, they tried hard to duplicate that elusive taste they remembered from their mother's kitchens. Most of them refused to share their painful memories with their own children, and their children, as well as their grandchildren, were too afraid to ask. This inconceivable number of 6 million people, our brothers and sisters who perished in the Shoah, has always been hard for us to grasp, but we learned at a very early age to read between the lines and to pay attention not only to the spoken word, but also to the silence. We learned to live with our grandparents' constant anxiety, the refusal to see food go to waste, the way they almost burst with pride when they saw their Sabra grandchildren in uniform joining the Israeli Defense Forces, and many other little signs that went almost unnoticed and reflected the darkness that was always lurking within arm's reach. In their lifetime, they fulfilled the words of the old Israeli pioneer song, Anu banu arza livnot uleibanot ba. We came to this land to build it and to be rebuilt in it. And indeed, they built a state we can all be proud of. A startup nation with a vibrant and energetic, diverse society, excellent universities, Nobel Prize laureates, the best field hospital in the world, with a wonderful cultural scene, humanitarian organizations that are active worldwide, and guaranteed civil rights to all its citizens. They taught their children and grandchildren to defend the Jewish homeland, to guard and protect it, in the face of constant, endless regional, strategic, and geopolitical threats. We grew up with the awareness that Israel must be strong, always. For our grandparents, the State of Israel was not only their homeland in the ancient biblical sense, Israel was the most important insurance policy of the Jewish people, the main guarantee that such devastating disaster would never happen again. 30 years ago, the government of Israel and the Jewish Agency joined forces in establishing the beautiful initiative of the March of the Living. This impressive project brings together Israelis and diaspora Jews, not only Jews, young and old, students, teachers, soldiers, civil servants, elected officials, all go together on a journey of remembrance of our 6 million brethren in recognition of the terrible loss of life, potential, and talent. But it is also a journey of life, of hope and continuity. This year, a large group from Toronto went to Poland to join the March of the Living, and then continued to Israel to celebrate our 70th year of independence. This year, I'm proud to say, my own father, as well as our Toronto relatives, who are sitting right here in this room, the family of Bill Galit, Zichrono Livracha, joined the march. This journey symbolizes our deep connection to our history, the unbreakable bond between the people of Israel and the land of Israel, as well as the mutual responsibility between the State of Israel and diaspora Jews. The Jewish community in Canada has been committed to Holocaust remembrance and education. Canadian Jewry has been an integral part of the March of the Living initiative from day one, and Eli Rubinstein's name has become synonymous with the project for 30 years now. But the March of the Living is only one aspect of the tremendous activity which is conducted in this field, in this community. Organizations and individuals are dedicated to collecting, publishing, and researching new evidence and testimonies. There are those who help Holocaust survivors write their memoirs. Others fearlessly fight manifestations of anti-Semitism, xenophobia, and racism. And others help gather the information needed to officially recognize those righteous among the nations who saved Jews during the war. Canadian Jewry has also contributed greatly to building bridges and to strengthening, even further, the very close bilateral relations between Canada and Israel. This community has been fortunate to find a home in a generous country, a land that embraces universal values of freedom, democracy, human dignity, and tolerance. We Israelis are honored to call Canada our friend and ally in the international community. Our grandparents embedded in us a sense of purpose and direction. They also have given us the responsibility to pass on the torch of memory and to teach our own children universal and Jewish values of justice, compassion, and courage. My grandparents used to say, the children are the future. They are our light. They are our victory. And when I look around this room and see you, Holocaust survivors and veterans, families, members of this wonderful community, sitting together in a synagogue, filled with life, light, and hope, this is a great victory indeed. It was Rabbi Joshua Weizmann who minted the saying, Am hanetzach lo mefached miderech aruka. The eternal people does not fear the long path ahead, and will continue marching. Thank you very much. Enjoy your evening.